Very good evening once again, and it had to happen again. And that's why I started by saying yesterday once more. Because I remember the times that I was at Malhar and the current would go, I would just come down the stage and start talking to parents loud so that the person in the last row and the last person could hear. Unfortunately, now sitting in my office, I am not able to do so. But yet, the spirit of exchanging ideas with you is there, and the spirit of warming up to all my children will always be there. So I continue from where I stopped, and I hope I'm going to take the senior section now for understanding it better. So in senior section for standard 8, we are concentrating a lot on conceptual understanding. They will be having exams, tests, which are MCQs, which is 40 plus 40 plus 20. Again, offline, online, and 20 marks. Of it could be project, it could be any assignment that's given, varieties of tests, open textbook. They could have a video and questions based on the video. They could have an oral message or story, and then they could have stories from there. So it's oral, all of that mixed together that makes this examination for standard 8. So we have one set in term 1 and the second set in term 2. In term 2, that 20 marks become your project marks. And at the same time, when you have science, we will have journals. These journals will be on sheets of paper that you may write your experiment that can be uploaded. But at this point of time, we are not insisting, we are just giving you what can be done. We would give all these assignments for standard 8 and 9 as assignments because you cannot write your journal and submit it right away. Okay. For all optional subjects, again, it will be 30 plus 20 online, and then again 50 marks of online tests. So this is how it is. Again, I must repeat that we are giving a lot of emphasis on short tests. The reason again is very consciously it's been planned that we give them so many varieties of assignments so that children will learn to write assignments. More they learn, the better it is. Now, how will the term exams be if at all we are moving to the second term and schools open up? Even at that point of time, standard 8 will have 40 marks examination and another 40 of internals, which will be all these online tests, and then the 20 marks of projects. So you can understand that we have been considerate to the students so that they need not write an 80 marks paper all of a sudden, because that change would become. So we're trying to do it as 40 plus 40 plus 20. So that's how it's going to go for 8 standards. With regards to standard 9, I know there is this question that are the papers going to come from the board? My answer is no. The papers will not come from the boards. The students will be writing again the 40 plus 40 plus 20 format. Okay. However, being 9 standard, if we are able to take one test when schools open up and children settle down in the school, then after we have completed the whole process, we may take a 180 marks test just for them to get the hang of it. It can be as late as April as well. Are we going to have the final exams in February, March? Again, my answer is I am not too sure of it. It will all depend on how our schools reopen. When the schools open up, then we will take stock of how it is. Please understand the priority is not the examinations. The priority is not whether the students have got marks. The priority is learning really happening? That's more important than anything else. So keep that in mind, and please ensure that students are regular for their classes and also regular for writing these tests. And let them write it very honestly, because that is very important. You're doing a learning. Please ensure that you are checking whether you have learned it well, because by the way of averages, let me tell you that no matter what, you will all do extremely well, right? And for standard 10, I'm sure that you will be wondering how the year is going to be for you and how are we going to do for you. So right now you are at 40 plus 40 plus 20, where again you had 40 marks of online, 40 marks of offline assignments that you may have got, and the 20 marks that you may do of oral for English, and similarly you may have internals for a small test or presentation, any of those that may be fetching you marks. So this 40 plus 40 will, which is what is going to take you forward. However, your term after, if at all schools open after November, that is in the month of November end or December after Diwali, if the government permits and we open schools, then we'll give you sufficient notice, but you will write an examination for 40 marks only. So again, you will do 240 marks paper, which means half the portions, 4 chapters only. So that's exactly how we have planned. So that you're doing 4 chapters, you're writing for 40 marks, but you're doing it very thoroughly so that you are very sure of what you know and what you don't know. And if you don't know something, you need to correct yourself there. Then we will be, by the time the school would have opened up and you've already done with one test, maybe after the Christmas break, we'll have another 40 for you. So that makes, and for the rest of the chapters. So that will make a complete thing. In the meanwhile, you're also doing your online tests, which are MCQs. Again, do not think it burdensome. Please make sure that this is also a format of learning. So if you know your keyword over there, you've got your answer right. All that you have to do is to frame the sentence. If you know a particular thing for reasons and you are getting that right, you will be able to do it very, very well. Now, coming back to the next part of it is, how do I write my 80 marks paper? So that will depend upon this month end, I think, or November first week. We will definitely get a clear idea with regards to boards, both for 10th and for 12th. And my answer for both 10th and 12th is the same, that as soon as we get an intimation of how the board exams and when the board exams are going to be conducted, accordingly, we will make plans for you. But initially, whether it's 10th or whether it's 12th, we'll all write 40 marks paper plus 40 marks paper. So half the portions for 40 marks first, another half of 40 marks later. Then in January, very comfortably, you'll do your prelims, which is going to be a complete 80 marks, and 20 marks of your project. So whatever it is will get added. So you will have enough practice. Just in case your exams are in March, then February, you get one more prelims to write. I leave it optional for children. If you think you're very confident, you need not write. But if you want to have a practice for another 80 marks, we are going to run that 80 marks for you. So which means you are having 3 prelims. If I can say 40 plus 40 is prelim number 1 or term examination, whatever you may call it. Then you have first prelims in Jan, again you'll have another prelims in Feb. Okay, but we will all see where the examination is leading, when the board is conducting. So all of these are factored around 2 things. 1, when will the government allow schools to open up? 2, what is the decision of the board with regards to board examinations? Based on that, you will get a complete clear picture, and I will come back to you in November end, talking to you, especially to standard 10 and 12, of where we are going to be. Okay, so you don't have to worry at all. The school will guide you thoroughly. You will not have to worry about it. Okay, on any account, they have almost reduced 35-40% of your syllabus. So your question that you have in your mind, especially for standard 9th, will be that in bits and pieces, portions have been removed. So how do we ensure continuity of teaching or learning? And my answer to you is this, that's the reason why our teachers are teaching, giving you a glimpse of what is not there in the portions as well, and teaching it conceptually so that you understand the background, at the same time learn to write the correct answer at the right time. Okay. Now, this is if you're hearing a bell, that's the bell of the Shiv Mandir ringing. I must tell you that I'm sitting in school, so you can hear the bell of the Shiv Mandir. So that's for nostalgic moments for each one of you. Okay, and so board dates are not finalized. Submissions for projects, when is it going to be? When do we submit our journals? We'll give you the right date at the appropriate time, at the time that it is safe and this thing. But I want all students of standard 10 and 12 to keep their work updated. Don't try and pile it up till the last moment, thinking that you can submit your books at that point of time when the teachers ask. Do not tell us that you've given us only 3 days time or 4 days time for submission. I would request teachers also to ensure that they are all completed now itself in the month of November, and we are. Now the question comes is, when are we going to have these examinations? So my answer is that our examination, the next term examination, the 40 marks one that we are talking about for the senior classes will be, that is when I'm talking senior classes, I'm talking 9 to 12. Okay, they will be around November 3rd week or so. Okay, so that's where it's going to be. For the younger ones, it will be in first week of December till grade 8. So that's where it is. All precautions will be taken while taking these examinations. These examinations, if at all school is not opening up, these examinations can be online. So how will it be online? We will have a subjective paper online. We are working towards bringing that paper online for you. Okay, so it would be a proctored examinations. While I'm at this, I have a few things to say, and this is both for students as well as for parents. For students, my point is let's just be honest when we write any examination or we do anything. Plagiarism is not allowed. Okay, very often, even for papers like geography, for writing definitions, we know it is Googled and it is copied and put across because we have a software for checking. So we get that immediately because they are flagged passages and we can see that definitions are so high tech and students are not even able to pick up the right definition. They pick up something in an completely out of context, maybe in an Israeli context and things like that. So we can make out that they have very clearly done. Apart from that, the software tells us that the children have been lifting ideas. Please do not do that. You're only cheating yourself at the end of it. There is just no point getting full marks now and not doing well later. Okay, so just let's be honest to ourselves. When we are doing a virtual classroom, the onus of learning is on us. The onus of knowing what we know and what we don't know is on us. We don't need our parents to stand behind us and ensure that we write it honestly. Neither do you need a teacher to tell you that write it very honestly. I think we are all big enough and mature enough to take on greater responsibilities of understanding that this is a challenging time and we have to rise up to the challenges. So that's what it is. All written submissions as well, we are noticing a lot of ideas that are being lifted off the net. Please don't do that because if you get used to that, you will never be confident of writing. When you're not confident of writing, even writing an essay or writing a grammatically correct sentence during the boards, you will need to seek help, which you will not be able to do. So please don't ever get into this habit. And there are rumors, I know, in the newspapers that there were articles saying that the portions will get reduced further. We have no official information of that until the time I officially come across to you explaining everything. Please don't go by any messages. Okay? And may I request all parents, please ensure that you watch what your children are doing occasionally. Please come and check it out because we do see children playing pranks. We can correct them from here. We can pull out their names and draw them out. But at the same time, if we can talk to them at home and tell them how important it is to ensure that we maintain the privacy of all students, we learn to honor and respect everyone, and how do we conduct ourselves in a class is very important. So that's one thing. There are students who are switching off the videos. I understand that if like now I had connectivity problems, if you're having a connectivity problem, I understand that you can switch it off. But switching off does not mean that you are using your headphones and listening to music. Whom are we cheating? All right. So students, I want you to take this as a responsibility on you, completely on you. And I'm sure just like how you rose to the occasion when it was March, April, or whether it was the time that you had to organize events and take on responsibilities, or at the time when you felt that you were feeling low, yet your resilience brought you right on top. I want that resilience to come out. I want that integrity and that power of myself, me, and what is the power within me to come out to write the best test and write it the best way possible. Don't worry about what others have got. I just don't want anyone to make comparisons, but do not try and copy. If you cut, copy, and paste, you're teaching yourself how to cut, copy, and paste. And I'm sure you don't want to do that because that is done even by a kindergarten kid these days. So let's grow out of that, and I'm sure we rise to the occasion. I would like to conclude on this note by saying that there will be a lot of questions in your mind. I would like to summarize the whole talk. When it comes to examinations, please do not worry. We are making it easier for children by breaking them into smaller components. That is the reason for having so many tests of 20 marks or 10 marks each. The reason is that even if a child misses out on a test, he doesn't lose marks. When it was a real school, if a child missed out on a unit test, he never could write a re-exam. Here, the law of averages gives the benefit of doubt to the student. So enjoy that process. 2, do not keep thinking you're writing a test. You and I know how much of preparation goes into a MCQ test. I'm writing exams too right now because I'm studying. Okay, I'm studying Sanskrit and I'm writing exams. I know when it is a MCQ test, how much is my effort and the kind of effort I put in when it's a subjective, and when it is a term end examination, how much of an effort I put. When I, at my age, am honest to admit this, being the principal of the school, I'm sure that each one of you students will be with me and agree with what I'm saying. I'm just being honest with all of you. The next that I would like to tell each one of you is about standard 8, 9, and 10. Do not worry about the board exams. 10th and 12th need not worry. For standard 11 and 12, I'd like to say this. Students of standard 11 have joined in late, so they will have their 40 plus 40 plus 20. However, students of standard 12, you have already written till by October end, you would have written an examination for 120 marks. That we will bring it down to maybe 40 marks. And from there, we will make you write another 40 marks test. So as we discussed with students today, students themselves desired this, and then we are going to have that for you, 40 marks in December, 40 marks December end, and then you can write according to when the school reopens, you can write your next set of 80 marks paper as and when it is required. So we will, or 70 marks paper as the case may be. There's one big question about practicals. We haven't done any practicals. You may have seen some of them online, but you haven't done it. So demonstration could have been possible, but even the council is rethinking about these practicals. We have all given suggestions. So let's hear from the council first. The second that I'd like to say is that we would like to also take a decision on the practicals once schools open. When schools open, remember, I told you it's going to be in bubbles. Bubbles means groups of maybe 15, 20. That's all. Okay. And then we would have many such bubbles that is functioning across the school. This will not be for younger children. It is not up to grade 8. It's only for students of standard 9 to 12. The initial opening of schools will only be for students of standard 9 to 12, not for anybody else. Okay. It will again come by the direction given by the government. The next that I'd like to say is once you finish your practicals, we will be taking you to the labs to do your practicals. You may stay on for 3 years, do all the practicals at stretch, and then we give you practice. This is how we are planning to work it out. In the meanwhile, your teachers will be coming out with assignments based on practicals. Based on when you write that assignment, you will actually know the practicals, how it's being conducted and what will be the kind of answers, and you can work it backwards. So we are trying ways and means by which we can reach out to students. Please do not worry. Sometimes we do have difficulties, especially in maths and especially with the younger children in grades 5, 6, and 7, when it comes to fractions or something that we have to teach them. We do find it difficult to teach geometrical construction, for example, because the teacher is not able to see the construction made by every child of standard 5, 6, and 7. Right? So for the older ones, they are able to do it better because they've already understood the concept. So we do understand that. The teachers are trying to reach out. We are also coming out, researching on more tools that will help children understand it better. But at the same time, I am certain that it's only another short period of time. You waited this long. I'm sure we can wait a little longer. And I'm sure the best will come on to you. But you can always remember that your teachers will back you. We are all taking conscious decisions we make every week that we meet. We actually take stock of what's happening in every classroom. Good things that are happening in the classroom was yesterday when suddenly, when the current was off, the grid crashed and there was no current. And the teacher was teaching and suddenly she lost the hotspot. And she came back to class about almost 20 minutes later. And this is, I think, grade 6. A little girl was doing a presentation on some values in life. And all the class was listening to her. This is the best example of what I can call responsibility, resilience, and power of leadership. We are teaching children how to lead without having to give a big lecture on leadership. This is what life is all about. It takes us by surprise, but we have to rise to the occasion. So parents, I'm sure that all the tips that I've given now, I saw a question on how do I do research? Can you help me, ma'am? My dear, I will come back to your class to explain to you because this is not the time when I'm on the YouTube. I'll come to you on a Google Meet class and explain to you on how to do research for any subject. Okay, so do not worry about that. There was also a question by Aryan, the school captain, on the reduction of portions for standard 10 and 12. Aryan, please remember that unless I get it comfortably from the council, I will not announce, and I will announce it when I get it in writing. I will make you all more comfortable. But at the same time, I think it's fairly reduced. We must also remember that there are bare minimum competencies, bare minimum knowledge that you must all have at every stage. Okay? And don't think that you're overstudying and then it won't be tested. Don't worry. Please study whatever you can, the best way you can. Keep writing test papers for all the students of standard 9 to 12. Short papers you can make yourself and keep practicing writing. Keep writing. Attempt last year's question papers that you may find on ION. Please do that. We will also post as many worksheets as possible for you, and you can write at your leisure. That will give you enough and more practice. So I think that should clear a lot of doubts. This is for the children of Singhania School. And I'm sure, because it's on a YouTube channel, but I had no way by which I could address the entire lot of parents and children together. So I chose this channel. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. I know there have been disruptions, but disruptions now is a part of our life, isn't it? And we have learned to accept that so well, and we are able to smile and we are able to come out with better solutions. That's what I did today also. And let me tell you, I have learned so much from my students. And to all my students, I'd like to say thank you. And thank you on behalf of all the teachers, because the teachers too feel that you have all come closer to them. You've helped them so much more in even adapting themselves to the new changes. I'd like to thank all my teachers, Teachers, you are gems. You have risen so well, tried out so many things new. Every time we have a meeting, you've come out with newer ideas. I could not have asked God to give me a better team of teachers. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for all your patience.